Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. Sadly, colon cancer has touched the lives of many people close to our hearts. That's why early detection is paramount in establishing a proper healthcare plan. The innovators at EndoChoice have developed a new colonoscopy scope that is making a huge difference for both doctors and their patients. Founder and CEO Mark Gilreath is here to tell us more. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Kathy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mark, in full disclosure, your area of expertise is very close to my heart. Our company is closely involved with ASGE. I serve as an honorary board member. In fact, you and I were both at a recent event together.
Sure.
Can you please share with us some of the statistics of colon cancer, and can you provide some insight into the industry as a whole?
Kathy, it's well known that colon cancer is the second most common killer among cancer patients in America, with about 50,000 lives being lost each year. The one thing that's so special about colon cancer is that we can prevent it. It's different from other cancers that way if we intervene and find the polyp soon enough.
Well, can you please tell us how EndoChoice is offering revolutionary advancements for medical professionals and for their patients?
EndoChoice has hundreds of products for the GI caregiver, but we're really most known for one differentiated technology called Fuse. Fuse has been published in clinical studies showing that it detected 69% more precancerous polyps than the traditional colonoscope.
Well, in this Worldwide Business Field Report, we'll discover the impact EndoChoice is having on people's lives.
What the Fuse scopes allowed me to realize was I was probably still missing polyps on the forward viewing scopes, so that if I found one or two before and now I'm finding 3 or 4, the total number of adenomas that I'm finding is probably a lot more with the Fuse scopes. When I'm using the forward viewing scopes, my exams are now a little bit longer because my confidence in those scopes is a little bit less, and so I'm taking more time to make sure that I'm not missing polyps that I would have found had I been using the Fuse scopes. I think the other added benefit to purchasing Fuse equipment is it definitely sets your practice apart and creates a differentiator to set you above the rest of your competitors. If you get a forward viewing scope, you're just one of many, but Fuse technology, which is inherently better in my opinion, also sets you apart and above the rest of the crowd. With healthcare costs as high as they are, I think it's important to make sure we are receiving value for the money spent. So why settle for anything less? Insist on Fuse both for yourself and for your patients.
So Mark, please tell us about EndoChoice and what are you doing for your customers?
Well, EndoChoice, we started in my basement in 2008. We now have a company with about 500 employees worldwide. And our mission is to serve the GI caregiver. You know, many companies are talking about serving the patient, and that is perfectly intended. But we don't touch the patient. We touch the physician and the nurses and the administrators. So serving the GI caregiver is the mission of EndoChoice.
Mark, why is that mission so important to you?
Kathy, colon cancer and the chronic illnesses associated with the colon and the upper GI tract touch all of our lives, whether it be a family member or a friend. And so most of us know someone that we've lost or who has suffered from these illnesses.
Can you talk about the culture of your company?
The culture of EndoChoice is really special. You know, we started in the basement in 2008, and several years later we have about 500 employees worldwide. We have a culture DNA that we refer to as CHI. It's very unusual, but CHI is an acronym. We wanted things to be clever, high quality, innovative, and we want to exceed expectations every day. CHI is interesting that not only was it embraced in the United States, but it translated really well to our 140 employees in Germany and almost 100 in Israel as well.
And can you please tell us about Fuse?
Yes, Fuse is full spectrum endoscopy. It's a colonoscope that sees 330 degrees. The traditional colonoscope only sees 170 degrees, and often polyps hide behind folds. So the broader field of view, the full spectrum view, the panoramic view is really influential in detecting those polyps that can be killers.
And Mark, can you explain what makes Fuse colonoscopy unique?
Yes, fused colonoscopy is unique because of the wide panoramic view, the 330-degree angle. We see behind the folds to detect those polyps that can be precancerous.
Right.
There was a Lancet Oncology study to look at traditional colonoscopy versus fused colonoscopy. And fused colonoscopy detected 69% more precancerous polyps. It was a groundbreaking study.
And could you please discuss some of the benefits that doctors and their patients are experiencing with Fuse?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been fortunate to install Fuse systems around the world and now have a sizable installed base across the United States. Physicians are coming to us every week with stories. Patients are coming to us with stories every week about their lives being saved because of polyps that would have been otherwise missed with a traditional scope.
It's incredible. And Mark, how are you able to verify these improvements?
Well, when physicians are comparing in the clinical study that we referred to, it was a tandem study. So they would go in first with a traditional scope
Right.
and take out whatever polyps they removed. They would follow it with Fuse, and they found 76% more polyps. It was a striking statistic, but it was a comparative study back to back, which really validated that we see more.
And Mark, who should consider using Fuse in their practice?
All GI endoscopists.
Okay.
In the world of GI endoscopy, there are about 25 million procedures done in the United States each year. It's a very high volume procedure. Colonoscopies are 15 million of that. So in every GI department across America, whether it be a hospital or an ambulatory surgery center,
Right.
they're really candidates for Fuse endoscopy.
Can you please specify how Fuse helps physicians to provide better care for their patients?
Well, when patients are coming in to have colon screening, which is now guidelines are referring that at the age of 50, and if you have colon cancer in your family, even earlier.
Right.
So you'll come in for your colon screening, and the difference of having Fuse versus a traditional scope can be the difference of finding that polyp that might be cancerous.
And what is the cost of a Fuse colonoscopy compared to a standard colonoscopy?
The costs are comparable to what's currently used.
Mark, could you please share some of the other technologies that EndoChoice offers?
Yes, EndoChoice has three primary divisions in the company. One are single-use devices and infection control products, the single-use products. Two is pathology, the diagnostics. And three is Fuse, the full-spectrum endoscopy. The perfect scenario for us as a company is when they're using Fuse technology to find more polyps. They remove those polyps with our biopsy forceps or polypectomy snare devices. They put them in our formalin jar and send them to our pathology lab for diagnosis. So we can provide the full cycle of care for a GI patient.
Mark, you started this company in your basement. What inspired you?
You know, Kathy, looking at the major trade shows that we go to, we had a very fragmented industry with lots of small companies trying to have a widget. And we felt like there was a bigger opportunity not to be widget focused, but to be focused on the GI caregiver because their needs are much more broad than that.
And how long have you been involved in this industry?
I got out of the Navy in 1992 and joined the GI industry. Worked for a couple of organizations and started EndoChoice in 2008.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you for what you're doing for patients everywhere. With your expertise, what can you share with our audience about the importance of being screened?
Well, colonoscopy for a number of years now, for decades, has been proven as a gold standard in detecting colon cancer. It's something that I would encourage people to get screened at 50 years old, according to the guidelines. Don't wait, don't put it off. We've all lost loved ones as a result of that. And while our clinical studies suggest that we find much more, colonoscopy is still the right test, regardless of technology. But if it's me, I would insist on Fuse.
Mark, before we close, can you please tell us what's next for EndoChoice?
Well, EndoChoice is ramping up. You know, we went from an idea a few years ago. Last year we did a little over 72 million in sales, and this year we're continuing that growth rate. And so we have a long way to go. It's a big opportunity. Introducing this technology and letting it grow to become the gold standard of care is really what we're after.
Well, Mark, it certainly sounds like the advancements that you've made at EndoChoice can offer high hopes for patients in need. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
For Worldwide Business, I'm Kathy Ireland. Thank you for watching.